So you think snakes on a plane are bad, huh? Wait until you fly with liberals on a plane. Roll tape.
This is on your Twitter account. You said, some guy gave up his first-class seat for a uniformed soldier. People are thanking him. I'm trying not to vomit or yell about Mosul. You're blaming the soldier. You're not blaming the policymakers. You're saying, you're saying giving up a seat for a soldier in uniform made you want to vomit. You're not saying giving up a seat for the guy who made the war policy, but for the soldier, the guy who's risking his life.
Yeah, another left-wing nut job at large. The offender in question, no stranger to vulgarity, though. He's a Drexel University professor. That's right. He's someone who teaches our children. Here to discuss, Kirsten Hagelin, Danielle, McLaughlin, and Jillian Melcher. They all look like they're going to go out and party after the show. But for now, I'm saying forget snakes on a plane, all right? Because you had this guy. You had the guys who attacked Ivanka Trump and her family. Then the woman who attacked the guy with the Trump T-shirt on. I mean, don't fly a plane and let the world know that you believe in soldiers or even democracy.
Seriously, it's like traveling is stressful enough already, so let's just try to use library voices and think before you speak, or maybe think before you tweet, right? Because it's just completely ridiculous, and obviously he was searching for attention because he's gotten lots of TV time, a lot of people going to his Twitter page, and he's just, he's trying to take it all in right now. It's ridiculous.
But that was really bad. I mean, to say that that someone gives up a first-class seat for a military person and you want to vomit, you're in a difficult position sometimes, Danielle.
Often. Often.
But how can you, as a liberal, even justify this kind of behavior?
Well, it's really simple, Charles. You can't, okay? This was a provocation that was completely unnecessary. I think the idea of pretty much any American, any patriot, of giving up a first-class seat to somebody who has fought for your country and has put their lives on the line, it's completely unforgivable. But I do think that there is more to it than just that. The second part of what he talked about in this tweet was Mosul. And again, I think most Americans, Donald Trump campaigned on being against the Iraq war. We lost 5,000 Americans. We had 30,000 injuries. I think he had a really valid point and actually a patriotic point to make in the second part of the tweet, which was he wanted to yell about Mosul.
Tucker made the point too, is like if that's how you sincerely feel, the last people you would take this out on are the people actually fighting those wars and losing their lives. And you do so many pieces, Jillian, on the snowflake culture at colleges, and it begins with these professors.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and they promulgate this stuff. I want to point out this professor, we've got him saying this. You've got another professor who called Donald Trump's election an act of terror, ended up getting Professor of the Year award, and then we see the left's intolerance toward Charles Murray, toward Jason Riley. I mean, the list of people on the right that they have disinvited from college campuses goes on and on and on. Inclusivity is such a buzzword, but we really see them being exclusive to other political thoughts.
Yeah, and then of course sometimes if you are invited, you may be greeted with a Molotov cocktail thrown in a car or something, and then the level of violence and anger and borderline hatred it's hard to believe.
Right, and there has to be a place of, look at us here, right, where people of differing political persuasions, and yet we're able to communicate in a way that is healthy and that is respectful. And I love Twitter. We're all on it. We all communicate with it every day. But let's step back and realize that 140 characters in a tweet is not enough to express complicated issues like this. So especially if you're a professor.
Also, let's be honest. This guy, whether you had 1,000 characters or it doesn't matter. He has a certain type of animosity.
Absolutely.
That is frightening in a sense that he gets to influence young adults going out into the world. And you have to worry about the kids who sit there and absorb his ideology for this long.
Without a lot of critical thinking. Look, liberals are all about safe spaces, but I think what they're doing is turning the rest of the world into a politicized
Certainly airplanes
space.
are not safe spaces
Yeah,
anymore.
and don't talk politics on a plane, right?
Yeah, they're turning it into where everything is politicized, where your decision about what car service you take is politicized, where your decision about where you shop is politicized, where you getting on a plane is politicized. Not everything's political, but that's the mindset that they're instilling in these young people, and it's really sad.
So then, with that in mind, understanding how fractured this country is, how hopeful can we be that we start to come together somehow, heal this nation somehow?
I think dialogue is the key. I think that I would say this election more than really any other.
But I don't even know where the dialogue comes from because no one trusts the media anymore. Social media is, for the most part, you have anger, you have bubbles, echo chambers, but there's no real clear, honest discussion.
I think Americans need to get out and travel a little bit more. I think they need to see some more of their own country.
There you go. You're calling us ugly Americans because you don't have a passport.
Their own
You're
country.
dissing Americans. what you're
country.
trying to say is that we don't have passports, so we're ignorant.
No, travel within your country. If you're in California,
take a
go to
plane.
Idaho. Don't take a plane and don't tweet while you're on that plane.
I
think
I agree with you on the dialogue thing. I think it's so difficult to have a dialogue, though, on college campuses. If you've got a professor like this,
Sure.
you know his mindset going into that class.
No, absolutely.
It's going to be totally restricted. It's not a fair situation to have a dialogue.
But I think what we're seeing, I think historically, colleges and universities have been places of liberal thought, right? But we have seen over the last 30 years more ideas about conservatism that are taking hold in our
Right.
colleges,
Yeah.
and that's